We'll start with Leviticus chapter 23. Again, like I said, we're just going over the Feast of Tabernacles and the significance of it. We'll start at verse 34. You gonna read for me out?
Sure. This is Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 34.
We're gonna read all the way down to 44.
Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, the 15th day of this 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacle, for 7 days unto the Lord.
Alright, 15th day of the month, Feast of Tabernacle, 7 days unto the Most High. Keep going.
On the first day shall be an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein.
So the first day is the Sabbath. Keep going.
7 days ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. On the 8th day shall be an holy convocation unto you.
And the 8th day is also a holy convocation. Keep going.
And ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a solemn assembly, and ye shall do no servile work therein.
Alright, so the first 8th day are Sabbaths, holy convocations. Alright, no servile work. Keep going.
These are the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, a burnt offering, and a meat offering, a sacrifice, and drink offering, everything upon his day.
Everything upon this his day. Keep going.
Beside the Sabbath of the Lord, and beside your gifts, and beside all your vows, and beside all your free will offerings, which ye give unto the Lord. And in the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days.
All right, so this is why they also call it the end gathering, because this is that final harvest during the tabernacles. And so your feast should align with the seasons. It should align with the seasons. This will be that last harvest coming in before that winter season comes in. And once you've gathered in everything, then you'll have this feast. Keep going.
On the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath.
First and 8th day shall be Sabbaths. Keep going.
And ye shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees, and willows of the brook. And ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God 7 days.
You shall rejoice 7 days. So the Sabbath on the first, throughout the week you can work and do what you need to do. But the Sabbath on the first and the 8th. I just take the whole week off just to take the headache of, because I know my first 2 times I was packing everything up. I was just scared to leave my stuff. I was scared to leave that little $100 tin out there.
Sure.
So like, man, these jokers, I come back, these jokers done took my tent. You know what I'm saying? So, it's one of the top flight tents in Walmart. Like, yeah, they gonna try to take this. They gonna want this one. Keep going.
And ye shall keep it a feast unto the Lord 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. Ye shall celebrate it in the 7th month. Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths.
All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths. And you're going to keep this throughout your generations. Keep going.
That your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths.
And this is why we do it, in remembrance that, our children and their children and their children will know that we dwelled in booths in that wilderness. Keep going.
When I brought them out of the land of Egypt, I am the Lord your God. And Moses declared unto the children of Israel the feast of the Lord.
All right. So we see, and if anybody asks you why you doing it, you can just hit them cold cutting with that verse 43 in remembrance of, so our kids would understand that we had to dwell in booths during that Exodus. Let's also look at Deuteronomy 16. see it reestablished there. We're going to read 13 through Deuteronomy 16. We're going to read 13 through 16.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16 and verse 13. Thou shalt observe the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days. After that thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine.
After you have gathered in your corn and your wine. Come on. And then, after doing that work, you're going to want to feast. You know what I'm saying? You're going to want to celebrate. You done brought in this great harvest. You get to chill for a little moment. You know what I'm saying? And the season's over with. So it's kind of like, coming to the end, a refreshing moment. Yeah, you just, you know what I'm saying, you get relaxed. Like, you know what I'm saying, the season, it's like the football season's over with. Now you're in the off season for a little bit, and you get to, you know what I'm saying, you get to chill for a second. Keep going.
And thou shalt rejoice in thy feast, thou and thy son and thy daughter and thy manservant and thy maidservant and the Levite. The stranger and the fatherless and the widow that are within thy gates.
All right, so you're going to feast and you're going to rejoice. All right, everybody's going to rejoice. Keep going. 7 days.
7 days shalt thou keep a solemn feast unto the Lord thy God in the place which the Lord shall choose, because the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thine increase, and in all thy the works.
In all thy works. And that's the only way you can even try to attempt to have a feast 7 days straight like that, is after you done gathered in all of the, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the harvest. Because before that, you don't even know. You don't want to waste all your food because you don't know what that, you know what I'm saying, what that harvest is going to continue to yield. But once you're at the end of the season, then you already know what you have, and you know, so you can have that feast according to, you know what I'm saying, your storehouse. Keep going.
And all thy work and of thine hands, therefore thou shalt surely rejoice. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles.
All right, so the feast of unleavened bread, feast of weeks, feast of tabernacles, those were pilgrimage feasts that we are supposed to go to Jerusalem. Keep going.
And they shall not appear before the Lord empty. Every man shall give as he is able, according to the blessing of the Lord thy God, which he hath given thee.
All right, so we understand you're not supposed to come to the Lord empty. We see future and past examples. All right, we're going to look at Zachariah chapter 14 for a future example. Fourteen, 16.
This is the book of Zachariah, chapter 14 and verse 16. And it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem.
It says everybody that's left of all the nations that came against Jerusalem. Alright, everybody that's left. Everybody ain't gonna be killed. There are gonna be some people that are left. And everyone that is left that tried to come up and fight against the Most High, fight against the Mashiach, being king and ruler of this place, then what's gonna happen?
Shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
They're going to go up and they're going to worship the King. They're going to worship the Messiah. And they're going to have to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. So during the 1,000-year reign of the Messiah of Christ, they will still be keeping the Feast of Tabernacles. Let's look at Nehemiah chapter 8. You have something?
Okay. I think you're ready to do what I was going to ask you. I was going to say something about it.
Okay. Nehemiah chapter 8 and verse 14 is more so a past reference.
This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 8 and verse 14. And they found written in the law which the Lord had commanded by Moses.
Matter of fact, start at verse 13 for me.
Verse 13. And on the second day were gathered together the chief of the fathers of all the people, the priests and the Levites, and Ezra the scribe.
Unto Ezra the scribe. Keep going.
Unto Ezra the scribe, even to understand the words of the law.
So this us coming out of that Babylonian captivity. All the chief fathers, all the chief priests, all those elders came together to Ezra the scribe, so he could to help him better understand the law, because we just getting the law back coming out of this captivity, and they're going to help him to understand, so he can rewrite this Torah correctly. All right, keep going.
And they found written in the law which the Lord had commanded by Moses, that the children of Israel should dwell in booths in the feast of the 7th month.
And so they found, at this point, that, hey, man, you know what? Yeah, we're supposed to be keeping the tabernacles. So a lot of times we feel like, Israel was just righteous and they knew what to do back then, and they, you know what I'm saying, they ain't neat. Like, it wasn't like that. They may even be worse than we are today. But we see here that they didn't have no idea about the tabernacles, and they was just happy to see it again, to find it again in the law, when the Most High commanded them to dwell in these booths on the 7th month. Keep going.
And that they should publish and proclaim in all their cities and in Jerusalem, saying, Go forth unto the mount, and fetch olive branches, and pine branches, and myrtle branches, and palm branches, and branches of thick trees, to make booths, as it is written.
And we got to understand that this is a 7-day feast. All right, this is really kind of a pleasurable moment. These 7 days is one of the favorite feast days. So they would find that and say, you know what, if they gonna find anything to do, you know what I'm saying, you know what, we need to be keeping this booth. It's around that season. I'm glad we found that. Let's proclaim that. Let's publish it and make sure we get that out. Not the laws, not you know what I'm saying, separate yourself from the rest of it. But we definitely I'm glad we found these tabernacles, and let's go ahead and publish that to everybody and get everybody in one accord. Keep going on that.
So the people went forth and bought them and brought them and made themselves booths, every one upon the roof of his house, and in their courts, and in the courts of the house of God, and in the streets of the water gate, and in the street of the gate of Ephraim. And all the congregation of them that were come in again out of the captivities made booths, and sat under the booths. For since the days of Jeshua, the son of Nun, unto that day had not the children of Israel done so. And there was very great gladness.
So there was very great gladness. Since that king Jeshua of the son of Nun, since they've been brought into that captivity, they haven't been able to keep the feast. So there was very great gladness. Keep going.
Also, day by day, from the first day unto the last day, he read in the book of the law of God. And they kept the feast 7 days. And on the 8th day was a solemn assembly, according unto the manner.
All right, and so during those 7 days, they made sure to refreshing themselves on the law.
So as far as you have some groups that I think it's more because they don't really want to do the Feast of Tabernacles, because they don't really like being out in the woods, so they come up with ways to kind of bypass certain parts of it.
Mm.
Like a lot of them say, oh, just spend 2 days out there.
Oh yeah, they kind
of skip the 7 days that it say, and the 8th day they kind of make it seem like it's okay. It's one thing to, if a person can't do it, it's another thing to teach it. Just do 2 days.
They teach, right.
And then,
because and that comes too from the leader just not wanting to do it.
Right. We're gonna do 2 days, but they'll do 7 or 8 or 7 days for the Passover. They get to dress up or look good and stay in the hotel. You see what I'm saying?
Right,
so
right.
Now we can do that 7 days then. But this we just do 2, and we did it. We tried or whatever.
We got enough
And
for
then,
some
and
footage.
then you also have the ones that want to do it in their home or do it.
Yeah.
Do it in. It's a booth. It said he did it on the roof. He didn't say he did it inside his house.
Inside the house, right.
You already got a roof in your house. Well, you need to have another roof inside of your house.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So a lot of them kind of try to get a way to get into their house where they're comfortable and not be outside under the stars and try to sneak in the house somehow where they can go right there to the refrigerator.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right, and stay in their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't understand that. They know they supposed to do it 7 days.
Right.
They do know they supposed to do it 7 days. To do it 2, I don't know. I just don't understand that because, like I said, when you do it, it's I like doing it.
Right.
Like it ain't it's not a burden.
Right.
It's almost like a vacation, almost. So I don't understand why people don't do it. But that is going about it wrong. You shouldn't, like you say, it's one thing to if you can't do it, but if you can do it, just go out there and book the time, or just don't do it. It's like if you got the tent, you send it up in your living room. I done seen a lot of
the TV on over
you got the TV on. You send the tent up in your living room. That's kind of going outside of the purpose. And you can be teaching your kids this. You know what I'm saying? Don't this is something you can teach your kids. It's time that you can teach your children. Some life skills. Not only that, just like the 43, it says, they can remember about our people dwelling in booths. You can have that understanding that we left out of Egypt and dwelt in booths in the wilderness.
It's kind of like the Israelites might get some that on the Sabbath day, because they're used to eating things warm. Maybe you hear of them going outside and trying to heat it up with the sun, or put it on the whatever and try to heat it up and say, oh, we didn't cook because we went outside and let the sun heat it up. See?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Ways that, you know how we are. We try to find ways to break, to think we're keeping the law, but we really not, because we want to be comfortable, because we want to eat on the Sabbath day. We want our food warm.
Right.
We're going to put a pot on the hot plate and cook it there, because we ain't cooking. You know what I mean?
And it's doctrine now that a lot of Israel is cooking now on the Sabbath.
That's crazy.
A lot of Israel is cooking on the Sabbath. I'm going to say about at least a third of the camps are now teaching that, That's come to that knowledge where they saying now, you can cook on the Sabbath. And that's what ends up happening, man. You do 2 days and then you're not doing it at all. You cooking on the Sabbath and you're doing all kind of things. So, you're just trimming your ways.
You don't have to keep none of the high holy days. Go from one to the next.
It's getting there, It's getting there. And it's sad, but like I say, the Feast of Tabernacles, man, once you go out there and you do it, you're going to be definitely looking forward to it the next year and in the following year. We see our people here, they rejoice to get that back. You know what I'm saying? To get that feast back, they rejoiced at that moment to do that. But to do 2 days just to say you do it, just to say you did it, a little bit, I can see it being better than nothing. But at the same time, a lot of, especially, a lot of these leaders in these congregations don't even work. So they can definitely lead by example. Yeah, they can definitely lead by example and be out there those 7 days if nobody else.
And then if you do work, some will use excuses like, I work, so I'm gonna have to leave maybe, early or in the morning. Well, you can't give the Most High 7 days out of the year and suffer for 7 days and have to go to work. Even if you have to go to work on those 7 days and you got to leave at 7 in the morning from the camp, so what? It's just 7 days. Then you got to come back that evening when you finish work. At least you did it But we a lot of times don't have, we've done it, where we didn't be able to take all 7 days off, and we have to leave at 6 in the morning, come back at 3 or 4 in the evening,
Right.
off of work and come back. Of course, you don't want, you rather just stay out there and be comfortable the whole 7 days, but you do what you got to do to keep the law.
Right.
Instead of coming up with excuses on why I can't stay out there for 7 days because I got to go to work, and that means I'm gonna be away from the camp for 5 hours, 6 hours. So what? So what?
Right.
Come back, as long as you
Just
spend
come
the
back.
night. Yeah.
But I say it's only a Sabbath on the first and last.
Right.
You still can set up and then go do what you need to do, and brothers and sisters will be there to watch your stuff.
Right.
You got to worry about nobody taking your $50 tent. All right, the last great day of the feast, living water. We talked about that a little on that class where we outlined the feast days. We talked about those priests would go down to the water during that great feast and bring up the pitchers of water in the gold urn and the silver urn. Let's look at John chapter 7 and verse 38. And jokers don't be, jokers do them 2 days. They don't be out there prepared. They just throw that little tent out there, and they had a.
The heart's not in it.
Yeah, their heart's not in it, man. And then they keep it that way, and they don't, they don't really. But I think, the more they see it, man, we just shine a light on it, showing that we out there 7 days. It can maybe inspire people to go out. But shoot, even last year I was the only one here that did the 7. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I met Moshe and them. But as I'm gonna be an example, though, I'm not gonna do. You know what I'm saying? If I just did 2, then you know what I'm saying, brothers be like, well, Phoenix on it.
I mean, 2, you did 2. I do 1.
I do.
This is the book of John, chapter 7 and verse 37. In the last day, that great day of feast,
That great day of the feast, come on.
the Messiah stood and cried, saying, If any man thirst, let him come to me, unto me, and drink. He that believeth on me, as the scripture had said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water.
Yeah, so we see that during that grass river, when they were bringing that water, that symbology, you seen Christ stand up and cry out to the people, saying, "If any man really thirst, let him come to me, and those who believe on me, out of their belly shall flow rivers of living water." Let's look at Isaiah. We'll talk about that living water a little bit. Isaiah chapter 12 and verse 3 for the next couple slides. We're going to be talking about that water.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 12 and verse 3. Therefore, with joy shall ye draw water out of the wells of salvation. And in that day shall ye say, Praise the Lord, call upon his name, declare his doings among the people. Make mention that his name is exalted.
All right, and so, like we were saying, those priests were going down to that living water to draw that water out. We draw from the well of salvation, which is the Most High, the Hamashiach, or the Hamashiach Yahushua. Through him, through that living water, we are granted everlasting salvation. So we draw from that well of salvation. Let's look at Isaiah 43 and 20. And then, cut too. Jokers won't do the tabernacle, but go on a 7-day vacation to SeaWorld and the Cancun.
Yeah, end up getting alcohol poisoning because that liquor ain't right.
And the liquor ain't right. Yep, end up getting sick because of the food.
Food ain't doing right.
Food ain't doing it. Yeah, yeah.
And then also they wonder why things aren't going the way they want it to go. We're in captivity. you know, but the Lord will bless you if you keep His laws. But what's happening a lot of times, people are breaking them, but still expecting God to bless them, but they're breaking them.
Right.
But they don't connect that they're breaking the laws, and that's why maybe their business not working. That maybe is why this is not working. They don't connect. They just still think that, you know, hey, it's going to work out for me. You know, I'm an Israelite, but they're not thinking I'm an Israelite that's only keeping 2 days, or I'm not going at all.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Now you're expecting the Most High to bless you, your business and everything, but you're breaking all the laws.
Right. And to have that connection is important because that's what's gonna keep you in line. When you have that connection, like, hey, you know, this is not happening because I'm doing something, you know what I'm saying, disobedient to the Most High. When you have that connection, you can build up that fear of the Lord, and that's what's going to keep you right when you know that you're being chastened for certain things. But if you don't tie that together to that, and you just thinking it's just some coincidence that things aren't going your way, or bad luck, or you know what I'm saying,
such thing as luck.
Right? It's just, you know what I'm saying, you gotta tie that to your obedience. And sometimes you go through things for a test, you know what I'm saying. Everything ain't, you know what I'm saying, tied to that, but you got to recognize that also. You know what I'm saying? You just got to be in the spirit enough to recognize that also. But I say if we continue to just in leadership to just do the 2 days or just to do a day or two, it's going, you know, that trickles down in right. Yeah, it'll trickle down. So it is a good, you know what I'm saying. Like I said, I got the camera out there. I'll be doing pretty much loading videos up every day, if not every day, every other day, and if not just a lesson, then just us just you know kicking the bobo, you know what I'm saying. So to show that we are doing it 7 days. Isaiah, what we at, 44:3?
43.
43:20.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 43 and verse 20. The beasts of the field shall honor me, the dragons and the owls, because I give waters in the wilderness and rivers in the desert, to give drink to my people, my chosen.
And so he gives water into the wilderness, rivers into the desert, and we pled for water while we was in the wilderness, while we was dwelling in booths. That great feast day, where Yahweh shall say, any man who thirsts, let him come to me. And we just doing precepts on that water actually coming in dry places, and the importance of that living water throughout the text. 44:3.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 44 and 3. For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground. I will pour my spirit upon thy seed, and my blessing upon thine offspring.
Alright, so pour water upon the dry ground. I pour water upon them that are thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground. Keep going.
And they shall spring up as among the grass, as willows by the water courses. And one shall say, I am the Lord's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Lord, and surname himself by the name of Israel.
So one will call himself, he says, I am the Lord's, and another shall call himself Jacob, and another shall subscribe his name, surname as Israel. And just showing you that the Most High is really only dealing with his people. Isaiah 55, and then we'll go back to the Tabernacles, where there's just a few precepts on that living water, that he who thirsteth. Isaiah chapter 55 and verse 1.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 55 and verse 1. Ho, every one that thirsteth, come ye to the waters. And he that hath no money, come ye, buy and eat. Yea, come, buy wine and milk without money and without price.
Alright, buy wine and milk without money, without price. Everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters. come ye to the waters. John 6:35. Let me get back to the tabernacle after this.
This is the book of John, chapter 6 and verse 35. And the Messiah said unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst.
And he that believes on me shall never thirst. Shall never thirst. So that your faith, your thirst is tied to your faith. All right. If you believe on him, you have the faith. You will never be thirsty. Revelations chapter 21 and verse 6.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 21 and verse 6. And he said unto me, It is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely.
So I give unto them freely the fountain of water of life. All right, I'm the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending. All those who are thirst, all those who have that faith, they will receive that water of life. 22 and 17, same book.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 22 and verse 17. And the Spirit and the bride say, Come. And let him that heareth say, Come. And let him that is athirst come. And whosoever will, let him take the water of life freely.
Let him take the water of life freely. Keep going.
For I testify unto every man that heareth the word of the prophecy of this book, if any man shall add unto these things, God shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book.
All right, but again, you see the any man that cometh, the Spirit and bride of say come. Let anyone that's here say come, and let him that is athirst come. You just see the same thing that we seen in that John 7:38. With Yahushua saying, He that is of thirst, come, and he that believeth on me, out of his belly shall flow waters, shall flow rivers of living water. John 1:14. We talk about the word dwelling with us, because that's ultimately one of the most significant things about us dwelling in the booths, is that the Most High dwelled in the tabernacle with us, inside of a booth, and moved about. John chapter 1 and verse 14.
This is the book of John, chapter 1 and verse 14. And the Word was made flesh, and dwelt among us, and we behold his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth.
So the Word was made flesh and dwelled among us, but before that, when we was in the Exodus, the Most High dwelled with us. Let's look at that Zachariah 14 again.
This is the book of Zachariah, chapter 14 and verse 16. And it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship with the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain.
Mm-hmm.
And if the family of Egypt go not up, and come not, that have no rain, there shall be the plague wherewith the Lord shall smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
All right, so during the kingdom, you ain't gonna be able to keep 2 days.
No.
You're not gonna be able to keep. You're not gonna be able to keep 2. You're gonna have to do the whole 7. All right. You're gonna have to keep the feast correctly, and if you don't, you get smite with the plague. Keep going.
Keep going.
Read
And
verse
that
19.
day, this is 19? No, 20.
No, 19.
19. This shall be the punishment of Egypt, and the punishment of all the nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
Yeah, that's all I wanted. Let's look at Hosea chapter 12 and verse 9. That'll be the punishment of those that do not come up and keep tabernacles. So you don't want to play with that. You definitely don't want to play with that, because I know that is mentioned that we would definitely be still keeping tabernacles during that during the 1,000-year reign.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 12 and verse 9. And I, that am the Lord thy God, from the land of Egypt, will yet make thee to dwell in tabernacles, as in the days of the solemn feast.
As in the days of the solemn feast, I will yet make you again to dwell in tabernacles. And speaking on that millennial reign. Wheat and tares, I don't think we really need that. Let's go to clouds and fire. I don't know why I put that in there. But that was just a parable of the wheat and tares being separated. Clouds and fire. Let's look at Exodus 13 and verse 21.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 13 and verse 21. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, to go by day and night.
All right, and so when we was in the wilderness during when we was exiting, when we was in the wilderness, the Most High had a cloud that we would follow by daytime, and nighttime it was a fire that was lit that we would follow to know where we was going and where the Most High was leading us. Let's look at Matthew 17 and verse 5, because that was symbolic for a cloud that we would later follow. Matthew 17, 5.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 17 and verse 5. While he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them. And behold, a voice out of the cloud which said, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him.
All right, and so we see that bright cloud overshadowed him, and during the transfiguration, they seen that bright cloud, and out of that cloud spoke the voice of the Most High, saying, This is my beloved Son. All right, let's look at Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 3.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 4 and verse 3. And it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion and he that remaineth in Jerusalem shall be called holy, even everyone that is written among the living in Jerusalem.
All right, keep going.
Jerusalem.
Yeah, this is talking about that during that millennial reign. Once they shall pass those great tribulations, everyone that remaineth shall be purged. Keep going. Verse 4.
When the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning.
By the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning was Jerusalem purged of their blood. Keep going.
And the Lord will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion and upon her assemblies a cloud and smoke by day, and the shining of flaming fire by night. For upon all the glory shall be a defense.
And upon all the glory shall be a defense. We see that same smoke, that cloud of smoke, and then that by day, and that fire by night that led us in the wilderness. Keep going.
And there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat, and for a place of refuge, and for a covert from storm and from rain.
All right, and there's going to be a tabernacle to get you to have a shadow to keep you away from the heat, and a place of refuge, and a covering to keep you out of the rain during certain storms. Well, we see that same cloud smoke in the wilderness, and that same cloud even speaking to the Most High. The Most High speaking out of that cloud, saying, "That is my beloved Son." Let's look at Luke chapter 21 and 27.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 21 and 27. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory.
All right, so during the second coming, we'll see Yahushua coming in the cloud with great power and great glory. You know, some brothers, you're going to say that's the chariots. My faith don't need to understand what it is. You want to say it's a chariot, it's a chariot. You say if it's a cloud, it's a cloud. Either way, when he comes, and that trumpet flow, you're going to know. Hebrews 3 and verse 16.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 3 and verse 16. For some, when they had heard, did provoke, howbeit not all that came out of Egypt by Moses, but with whom was he grieved 40 years? Was it not with them that had sinned, whose carcasses fell in the wilderness?
Keep going, you're going to read to 19.
And to whom sware he that they should not enter into his rest, but to them that believed not? So we see that they could not enter in because of unbelief.
I mean, we could not enter in because of unbelief. But we just going over those not entering into that rest, not entering into the kingdom. That's that Sabbath. That's fulfilling that Sabbath. That giving us that rest. Let's look at chapter 4. Read 4 and 1. The next verse.
This is Hebrews 4 and 1. Let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it.
Alright, so you don't want to come short of entering into that rest. Alright, this is not your rest. Tabernacles shall be set upon us. Look at Leviticus chapter 26. Let's see what Paul pulled from. This is the text that Paul pulled from when he was saying that we are the temples, to use that analogy. Leviticus 26 and 11. One more slide after this. 26 and 11.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 26 and verse 11. And I will set my tabernacle among you, and my soul shall not abhor you.
Most High will set his tabernacle among us, and he will not hate us. Keep going.
And I will walk among you, and will be your God, and ye shall be my people.
I shall be your God. I will walk among you, and you shall be my people. Keep going.
I am the Lord your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, that ye should not be their bondmen, and I have broken the bands of your yoke.
And he don't want us to forget that. He don't want us to forget that he brought us out of that land of Egypt. That he did that great feat for us. Keep going.
And made you go upright. But if ye will not hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments, and if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but yet that ye break my covenant, I will also do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning age, that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart. And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it.
Alright, so that's just going into the consequences like the Deuteronomy 28. Leviticus 26 pretty much almost has like the same setup as the Deuteronomy 28. But you see him dwelling among us, and we're going to see that in 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 16, at 11 and 12, where Paul pulled from, saying that we are the temples, but he used that the text Leviticus 26:11 Shalakia, to bring that point out.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 16. And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God. And as God hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people.
Keep going.
Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you.
And I will receive you. Alright, so we see that Paul did reference the text, him dwelling, not dwelling amongst. We use this to say that he will dwell in them as living temples, as living tabernacles, the Most High, his spirit dwelling within us. We'll close out with Revelations chapter 21 in verse 3.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 21 and verse 3.
Matter of fact, start at verse 1.
Verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away.
And see, this is after the 1,000-year reign.
And there was no more sea.
Shalakia, this is after the 1,000-year reign. This is after Satan had been loosed again, and then consumed with fire. And then we have the new heaven and the new earth coming down, and all that happened at the end of, you'll read that in Revelations 20.
And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men.
And a great voice said, the tabernacle of God is with men. Come on.
And he will dwell with them. And they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God.
And the Most High is going to be with us and be our God. Be our power. Keep going.
And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away.
Alright, and so in that time, that's when at that point, there ain't gonna be no dying. There ain't gonna be no more sorrow. There ain't gonna be no more warn. Yeah, you're gonna be at rest. You're gonna enter into that rest. Alright. But we know that tabernacle of the Most High will be dwelling with us and walking with us in that times.